what you call it? Your show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, I don't have the ability to insert sound either. It's something I need to figure out as well. I just never seem to take the time to figure it out. And we are live, by the way, just so you know.
All right.
Stop talking about Buxley. He can hear us.
Dang it.
Oh, I was just getting into the best story.
Sybil's here, so we can start the show. Just for the chat room, who's attending for the pre-show, you may be able to tell we're having a little bit of an audio hiccup at the moment, so we're still trying to work it out.
I can't find out where it's coming from.
So are you wearing a headset?
Yeah.
Are your speakers or your headphones really loud?
No.
Hmm.
I've got them turned down as low as I can and still hear you guys.
That is a bit odd.
Can you still hear it?
Testing 1, 2. Yep, sure can.
I don't know.
Of course, we could just do the whole show but in Ebekabo. Ebekabo. So you're using audio cables, right, to hook everything up?
Yeah.
And I would think if that was causing the echo, it'd probably be more prominent. It'd be, perfectly sounding.
It would be looping forever and ever, I would think.
How about this? I'm going to mute my microphone, and you guys talk.
Hey guys, how's everybody in the chat room tonight? We good?
In einem leeren Hasselstraat, der sitzen 3 Spatzen Bauch in Bauch, der Erik Rex und links der Franz und mittendrin der frecke Hans.
What you said.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, there's still an echo. If you would,
I'm impressed.
Mute your microphone. Testing.
You want me to mute mine?
Yes, Aludra, mute your microphone. In Hangouts, that little mute button. There you go. All right, Aludra is now muted.
All right, let's try it.
Test 1, 2.
No echo.
Yeah, it's like her microphone's picking up from something.
Hmm.
But what and why? We're having that microphone kind of day. All right, Ludra, unmute. N is saying there's no echo in the chat room.
That's good.
Well, that's really good, but it could be because I was muted.
Okay, chat room, can you hear an echo now? You should have just heard me say echo now twice, faintly.
I know I heard it.
Because I can live with that myself. I just don't want the recording to be.
Yeah.
So that was a very strong yeah, back twice. Ludra, are you recording right now?
Yeah.
I tried playing that last segment back. Let's see if it's getting in the recording. If it's not, we'll just deal with it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Gomez has, played some tricks on us just to make sure the show doesn't go as well without him. Everybody likes to be missed,
Okay, good. Abo's saying there's no echo. So is Buxley. But Borderan saying and Kondaran saying there is a little. Yeah.
Something else.
It's in there. It's faint, but it's in there.
All right. So the question is, where is it coming from?
I have no clue.
Recording. Hold on. Let me spin up my record side.
Ted's listening and he says it's not bad. He said it's fine.
Well, fine's one thing, but
yeah,
we don't want to be obnoxious.
All right, Aludra,
we don't?
If you would, Aludra, shut down your cables. I'm gonna switch everything to my end to record.
Okay.
Test 1, 2.
There we go. I just shut everything down.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that totally cleared it up. Right, let me
Okay, so it's on my end.
let me spin up my Audacity.
And
Testing 1, 2, 3. Toes Brillig.
Yep.
we're good?
Yeah, hold on. Oops. You guys sound awesome on my recording, but my microphone is nothing. Why is that?
It's probably picking up the wrong one. Thank you, Gomez, for the curse of this.
Test 1,
Gomez
2.
strikes.
All right, this is a test. All right, that's got me. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
sound
well. All right, I will take the recording this time. Stop that recording. Reset. All right, could all three of you say something, preferably at the same time?
Something preferably at the same
testing.
time.
1, 2, 3, testing.
Oh, just kidding. I thought that was hilarious. Okay. All right, well, then I'll record on my end. We'll come back in and figure out what's going on with your cables. Ooh, ow, that's loud.
Maybe we could trade, Zod. I'll do all the show notes, and you'll do...
Whoever's adjusting the microphone, that was really loud.
I'm sorry, guys. It was
See,
me.
Okay, I didn't have my video screen up, but... All right, be happy to, Ludra, if you want to switch it around and...
Yeah, that way you're not scrambling at the last minute and worried about it at work.
I wouldn't complain, but I don't mind doing that either. So, okay, chat room, just so you're aware, we will not be doing bumpers in line with the show this week, so you'll have to imagine for yourself what the show opening theme sounds like.
We're gonna sing bumper song.
Imagination.
All right, I just heard echo again.
Okay.
That's not good. Is that me?
Let me turn everybody down.
Am I the one making an echo this time?
No, I think it's me. Still. Because I don't hear it at all, so it's got to be me.
Yeah, he who smelt it dealt it, something like that?
Yeah. Let me disconnect and come back.
Okay.
So can we talk about her now that she's not here?
Quick, talk about it real quick.
Then again, all we'd be saying is how awesome she is, and she knows this.
And what a trooper.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Oh. Hey!
All right, welcome back.
All right.
I'm not hearing an echo anymore.
That must have, yeah, it must have been me.
Let's do it then.
Okay, I'm hearing...
Static.
Fan?
It sounds like, is that what that is, a fan?
It might be because I had to move. I had to move in front of it to fish out my phone so I can look at time.
Okay. All right, I say let's get the show going. It's been 15 minutes. That's late even for us.
And you know it's bad when we bust out the even for us part.
All right, so I'm going to stop, clear, and reload recording. Okay, I'm recording again. So, hey, let's do a show. This is AIE Podcast episode 201. We are working without Annette this week.
Who's Annette?
Funicello.
Poor Annette. We fired her.
Annette Funicello.
Isn't she that cute intern?
Yeah, I caught her sneaking food in the guild kitchen. Someone
Yeah,
else's
she's
food.
dying.
Yeah. had to
Fire
get rid of
her. Dock her
Right.
pay.
Right.
To the family of Annette, we'd like to wish you... no, sorry. Welcome to Night Vale. Just popped into my head. All right.
All right.
All right, so let us start. Okay, so I'm going to... Just because now we're not actually on the theme, so I'm just going to pause for a second and then go right into the open. Okay?
Yeah.
We are starting in 5, 4, 3, 2. On this episode of the AIE Podcast...
It's the Summer of Love.
It's my first episode, and I can't read notes.
We'll call it to the top of the show notes. All right, let's take that again. Ready?
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2. On this episode of the AIE Podcast...
It's the Summer of Love.
It's my first episode.
Get to the chopper!
The cupcakes. They're rising.
And we have Rado Zato to talk about AIE in Star Trek Online.
All that and more coming up right now. Insert show theme here.
Dance to the music.
Okay. Welcome to episode 201 of the podcast celebrating the Aliyah Ayakta gaming community. Yes, the die has been podcast. This is Accusod. With me, as always, is Aludra.
Hey, AIE, I think you're awesome.
And this week, I am proud to welcome aboard our new co-host, McCullough.
Hey guys, there's a sour cream blueberry pie in the guild kitchen.
Ooh, yum.
Yay.
All right, this week we are joined by special guest Ratto Zatto, who is here to talk about AIE and Star Trek Online. Welcome, Ratto.
How's everyone doing?
Awesome. All right, McCullough, since you are the newest member of our merry little band, let's start with you with this week's little chit-chat session. How are you doing? Why don't you explain to AIE, those of AIE who are not fortunate enough to know you, let them know who you are and what you do.
Well, I am McCullough. I've been in AIE for 5 years. It actually is my first guild. Only guild I've ever been involved in. Officer of AIE, I love it here. I'm involved in a lot of the craft fair stuff, general housekeeping, cleaning up the guild kitchen when I make a mess, and I do play happily in the Fert Raid team, a Blood Elf Warlock.
Woo, Fert! I would give our battle cry, but it's not,
It's
family
not
friendly.
appropriate.
No.
That's awesome. Well, we are so glad to have you on board the team. Thank you very much for saying yes to our offer.
I'm so happy you guys asked me. I love the guild. I love being here.
Luckily, you didn't know what you're in for yet, and this is probably a pretty good example of that.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Ludra, what have you been up to this week?
Well, this week, I've been up to actually quite a bit. It's pretty surprising. I've been playing the heck out of my cat girl over in Final Fantasy with the whole guild over there. It's been awesome, and there's many, many reasons why, but mostly because they're really cool. And let me see, I got a shiny new rainbow polearm.
Ooh.
It's like
Rainbow polearm.
it's a barbecue skewer, but it's rainbowy colored. It's like purple and red and yellow and
Ooh.
yeah. So it's really great. It goes well with my spiky, dangerous hug armor, which is what I've officially started calling it in my brains. Danger, because if I were to hug you in this armor, I'd impale you. It's really bad.
So it's an Iron Maiden in reverse?
It is. It's totally a reverse Iron Maiden. I've also been jumping up and down a lot on the guild furniture. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. And then I've also been playing a lot on my DS. So if you guys have a 3DS and I'm not your friend, I'd like to know why.
I'm too poor. I only have a 2DS.
I don't even have one.
It's a 3DS that only plays in 2D because the 3D gives me headaches.
Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yes and no. It's the next generation, so I can play all the new games, but I don't get the stupid headaches.
What's a few headaches in the name of good gaming?
Like a lot. That's asking a lot of me. Okay? No. Zod, I don't want to know how you play games. So tell us how you play games, so we can mock you for your headache-inducing gameplay.
I don't know. This week, the more games that I try to play, the more I couldn't. I think just one of those really, really busy works. And of course, my other than raiding with Fert, which is the main thing I do in World of Warcraft, and have an amazing time doing that. Heroes of the Storm put out a huge patch, and for some reason they couldn't get the patch done in time, so they had to go late into the night. I haven't had a chance to jump back into it yet and see all the wonderful new changes they've made. So I'm waiting with bated breath. I was going to do it tonight, but then, I had this podcast thing, and McCall was waiting on us, so, I decided I'd show up for it. So
That was nice of you. Sometimes he leaves
Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, sometimes he'll be like, it's just Maluja.
Hey, Ratto, it's been a while since you've been on. What have you been up to?
Not that long of a while.
Nah. You're just on for Secret World.
Yeah.
It was like 2 weeks ago? 3?
If you guys want to go and see the long, drawn-out explanation of my opinion of the D&D starter set that I mentioned last time I was on here, go look at the show notes. There'll be a link to the article where it goes, here's everything. So that's all on that.
We just saw
remember,
it, so I might need to take a look at that.
Yeah, we became D&D cast there for a little bit.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I just
How
saw
can we
something.
forget that?
Speaking of Heroes of the Storm, I just saw at San Diego Comic-Con or something like that. They Blizzard announced that they're going to have a Heroes of the Storm version of Bang. So I'm kind of excited on that. It looks like it's going to be the card version, not the dice version. So that should be interesting to try out.
Wow, I feel bad. I missed that. I have to look for that.
Otherwise, I've been dabbling a bit over on Neverwinter Online because their Tyranny of Dragons expansion is coming up pretty soon. They just announced that there's going to be a new race in addition to a new class, so now people can be Dragonborn, which is one of the starting initial races from the first Player's Handbook of 4th edition. Plus, they're having the Scourge Warlock, which is another core class from the first Player's Handbook.
So Dovahkiin and Liches, huh?
Exactly.
Okay, got it. I am so pro at this, guys.
But otherwise, Secret World, we've been holding a lot of successful raids lately, so we do encourage that the AIE community, both current and new players to both the community and our Secret World branch, if you want to get in, have priority on loot, head to our forums for information about when we do the various raids there to join on in and pick up some, participate in some fun activities and get some decent loot.
Wow, you're holding the loot hostage now, huh? RSVP
Well,
on your loot.
We let other people participate that are outside of it, but there's a statement on there that's like, people in the community have first dibs on the best pieces of loot. And then after the event's done, it's like, hey, if you're looking to join us, you can.
Would you like loot like this? Don't
Yeah.
you wish you were a part of this? Yeah.
Yep.
Totally get that.
Don't you wish your loot bag was hot like ours?
Yeah, seriously.
All right, so let's dig into Star Trek Online with Rado here shortly, but first, let's cover this week's news. Insert news bumper here.
News.
All right, McCullough, take it whenever you're ready.
It is once again time for AIE's yearly Summer of Love event. This is where AIE holds a number of events across our games to show how much we love each other. Of course, being the granddaddy of AIE games, the World of Warcraft gang has quite a few events planned. There'll be a Storytime Invasion for Tuesday, July 29th, a Coop Run on Thursday, July 31st, a Running of the Beef on Friday, August 1st, a Pet Battle and Transmog Contest on Sunday, August 3rd, and most
this is where you say words
are hard. And most importantly, the AIE Remembrance Ceremony will be held on Saturday, August 2nd. If you want to learn more about these cornerstone events in AIE World, we've got the links in the show notes, or of course, go to the forums.
I gotta say, if she got through her first reading perfectly, I think we both secretly hate her. So I'm really glad she stumbled too.
I stumbled.
Oh, we've been doing it for almost 4 years, and I stumble every time. So
Exactly. That's why we couldn't take the perfection if she managed it. You're doing so great, Michaela. Okay, so World of Warcraft has also released the newest art craft. This round is focusing on the female Tauren models. So if you have a female Tauren and you want to see the amazing upgrades, head on over to the Warcraft main page. I think she even blinks properly now, like instead of it looking really weird, and her mouth doesn't look like it's made of like a Play-Doh.
And she has a wood underwire bra.
That can't be
I looked at that
comfortable.
going, what?
Well, okay, what sounds more comfortable, metal or wood?
Depends. Let's ask the Wood Whisperer someday.
Yes, let's. Also in Warcraft news, the Iron Skyreaver mount is 40% off this week. The sale ends on June 29th, so if you want a two-headed dragon but didn't want to shell out the entire $15 for it, now's the time to jump on it. And this just in, the Horde Chopper is coming. Log in anytime between now and September 30th to get your account flagged to receive the new mount upon the launch of Warlords of Draenor.
Ooh, so that means you've got to log in now to get it then. If you are new to World of Warcraft, it won't be available to people who join WoW after the launch of Warlords of Draenor. So nice little perk to show off.
which makes sense because, we're the ones that voted for it, so.
Totally, absolutely. Okay, also joining in on the Summer of Love, the gang from AIE and Star Wars The Old Republic will be holding a Pilgrims and Pancakes event on Tuesday, July 29th. This is a combination of an easy nightmare pilgrim kill, followed by jumping off an ice bridge on Hoth, turning yourself into a pancake at the bottom. Pilgrims and Pancakes. Get it?
Okay, that's cute.
That is great.
Real cute. That is, congratulations, guys. I love it.
Yeah. And no stranger to secret ceremonies. There's a rumor going on that AIE in the secret world will be holding an event of their own at the church at Kingsmouth.
Oh, wait, that's redacted.
Oh, redacted. I'm sorry, guys. Okay,
No,
do I have
keep
permission
going.
to talk about
God,
it?
you're
Thanks.
going to come after her. Nobody's ever read Redacted before.
It's fine. I can take them.
Okay.
However, the event will be held at the church in Kingsmouth on Wednesday, July 30th, to be followed by some Leia runs on Solomon Island.
I'm afraid for her, man. I'm just sitting here going, oh, man. They're going to
No.
go after her.
And-
I have a frying pan. I'll start.
Okay. So, AIE in Final Fantasy will be holding a Remembrance Day event as well with a walking procession. Wow, I mangled that
Words
word
are hard.
3 times. Hat trick. Starting from the Sanctum of the 12 and heading to the Guild House, where there will be a special dedication. Wait, what? Did I say Guild House?
I think
Yes!
it's the Guild House.
Because the Final Fantasy game finally got their house after much debate and much arguing. Yay! We are proudly homed in Ward 4, Plot 6 in Gridania. This is, of course, on the Gilgamesh server. This is a large house, and it is massive. It is, they're not kidding when they say large house, okay? And it's already filling with furniture as we speak, thanks to the efforts being coordinated by Little Fist and anyone who can crack. Private rooms are available for purchase, but remember, they are 300,000 gil each, and you need to be a certain level with your grand company.
This is just kind of freaking me out that you're playing a game where one of the major accomplishments, and it is a major accomplishment, is to buy a house and make furniture
Oh,
and rent
it's not
rooms
just that.
out.
We have
And you can get a private
gardening
room.
plot.
And a private room.
Yeah, we
The
have
champagne
gardening
room.
plots going, and we've got a stable for our mounts, and we've got a fishing hole right on our land, and it's so great. It's like the perfect, and it's in this nice, quiet neighborhood full of trees. I'm pretty sure it's a good
Not for
school
long.
district for the Lalafels.
This is becoming
Now
as
that
much
we
of a
moved
game.
in, it's not going to be a good neighborhood for long, and it's not going to be quiet.
Actually, we've gotten a lot of visitors from other guilds coming by and admiring our house. We're like 3 days in, and people are stopping by and going, "Wow, look at all your furniture!"
So wait a minute, so other people can come into your house?
Yeah, if
can't,
you
like,
if you open it up, I also have an open door on my personal room. It's got a hot tub and a bed and all this great furniture that I mostly made.
Is this like Downton Abbey? Is there like a downstairs with servants and things?
Well, there is a downstairs basement, and it is pretty unfurnished. So maybe.
All right. So with that, let's get back to Radozato and find out what's going on in
Not going to tell about
Star Trek
Wildstar?
Online. Oh, you were quite right. See,
Cupcake.
words are so hard. I just skipped them all. I skipped the entire thing. All right.
That's
Good job,
cheating,
Cupcake.
God, we had to say
Luckily-
our word.
Luckily, I'm editing this show, so nobody will ever know.
Cheater.
For the live audience.
Yeah, but they're special. We like them, so they can know. And finally, those cupcakes from AIE and Wildstar are really getting their gears into motion. If you haven't yet, be sure to post about yourself in the introductory thread in the forums. There's also a raid team forming up looking for more, and we're extremely happy to announce that the gang has started up a podcast called The Wildstar Port. It's definitely something you want to listen to. It's going to become as big as the instance. I know it.
Woohoo.
Just like us.
Just like us, absolutely. And with that, and not making any mistakes whatsoever, let's get back to Radozato and find out what's going on in Star Trek Online.
Yay!
Woo.
Awesome.
Previously on Star Trek Online. with a lot of conflict going on with the Voth, the Romulan Republic, the United Federation, and the Klingon Empire, a lot of people have been wondering just what exactly is going on with the sphere there. Plus, with some of the events transpiring that have happened around Admiral Tuvok, we've been finding out that some other overarching plot is going to be happening. Well,
Dun,
not
dun,
long after,
dun.
not
Sorry,
long
just
after,
call for it.
a attack was struck against Konos and Sol 3 by species 8472, better known as the Undine.
But
The
But
attack
I
from
thought we were
them was so ferocious and horrible that it actually destroyed a massive section of the Earth space dock, pretty much making it so that the old section could not be used anymore. So a lot of the operations and so forth had to be relocated to another tier. Hence, in-game, why the whole place looks rather different.
Mhm.
However, the three major powers within the Alpha Quadrant, being the United Federation, the Klingon Defense Force, and the United Romulan Republic, after working together, they figured that, we should band together because the Iconians won't be any match if, everyone's resisting them. Well, as they came to this declaration of starting this brand new accord where the Klingons are saying, we are stopping, our open war with the Federation and we're renewing a brand new alliance, a Iconian appeared and slaughtered many of the the people there in attendance out of hand, and gave a very stern warning, saying that uniting and resisting against us will only bring death.
That's so
My.
sad.
And
That's so
now for
mean.
the continuation of Star Trek Online, Season 9.
That's impressive. That's an awful lot of a storyline going on there.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Hey,
some-
but I can fly my spaceship forward.
Yay!
Yep.
Great. Unlike Eve.
And yep. But yeah, if you participated in the Ryza Summer event, which for those watching the video stuff, you can see my character, and off in the distance there is Sybil's character.
Hi, Sybil.
Hey, Sybil.
Sybil.
For showing up quite a bit. We are currently in at least the night moments of the updated summer event for Ryza. You can see, since the ships that I can't remember. I don't know if this is the current ship or if it was last year's ship that you could earn by participating in the event. But
It's the Love Boat.
The love
Who
boat.
doesn't Ryza?
it looks like a cruise ship, but it actually goes out in space, and it also can go beyond
So it's
water.
the love boat in space.
Pretty much. Let's see. A lot of new events occurred for this year's summer event, plus some things that seem to have some implications of what will happen next year when they do this again. One thing that they did was it seems that, and I'm not 100% sure if this applies to everyone, but it applied to my character, but it seemed like in the events tab where you can participate in turning in a whole bunch of projects, there was a option for people, at least for my character who has finished it. I hope it was for anyone, period, but they could, for rather cheaply, get last year's ship for a fraction of the currency cost for doing the event quests and mini activities. Whereas the current one was the standard, you need 1,000 of the currency, but you're getting like 40 a day by doing a daily, and there's plenty enough time to not only get the currency, but possibly stock up for more for next year to get like a head start there.
Now, when you go for the old ship, do you have to deal with like a used car salesman? What do I got to do
no.
to get you in this ship?
Nope, not at all. But it's nice, and this is Rise of the Pleasure Planet. They make everything nice and pleasant.
Nice and easy.
Unless you're gonna have like a weird side adventure that involves Ferengi and Vash, then you just annoy Picard instead.
Right.
And the Pleasure Planet, do they have private rooms there too?
Much like our house.
They do. Well, they kind of do, because there's these huts all around, and you can, at least for.
You seem to have cut
hang
out.
out.
Oh, there you
Because
go.
there is there's actually a decent RP community within this game. So
Now,
you know,
is Ryza like Goldshire is in WoW?
Oh.
no,
Oh, good.
especially
Okay,
that.
good.
What was
I
it?
have no idea what you're referring to, McCullough.
Of
Yeah, I
course
think
you
it's
don't.
Sisters of the Loon. I'm not sure which server it was, but there's a particular one where the Goldshire is even more infamous. But anyhow, there are two versions of Ryza. This is the summer version, and there's a default version, which is not as amazing. So they added another wing to this area for more stuff. Primarily, what was attached to there is the surfboard event, where you can get this like crazy fast hoverboard and go veering off around, all over the place. I forgot to fetch that out of my bank. Otherwise, I would show you that. Unless Sybil happens to have it, then I can watch her hop on it. Other events, they added a sandcastle building event. Unfortunately, I cannot show you a lot of these things because the event is over, but these are probably things that are going to be happening next year, so something to check out. There's a sandcastle building event where there's a competition. You built these different sandcastles there.
How do you build a sandcastle in a MMO?
Well, they did a somewhat pseudo skilling up system because, like, the first time you did it, it's like, okay, here's a simple thing. But then the second time they do the event for like every hour, you have a second option to build on there, and you can build on that. Or if you do the original option, there's now a new thing onto that, and so it, like, gets more complicated as it branches out, and you can make all these different things. Like, I think the pinnacle thing that you can make is like a fancy looking Federation logo that's like standing as tall as your character is. Or at
So
least
are we talking like Minecraft here?
No, it's
pick up a square and
it's just an interaction node. So it's like if you're playing World of Warcraft, you go up to like a mining node or an herb node. Instead of going, okay, I just collect it. It's like, okay, you have these options of things, make it display there.
Gotcha.
Or maybe a little more accurate if you've played Lord of the Rings Online, it's like the decoration hooks, where it's like, okay, here's a hook that can have these things. What do you put there?
I was just picturing you on your knees in your Starfleet uniform with a shovel and a pail, trying to fill it up, and
which actually goes into another thing that was added. They added quite a few swimsuit options for your outfit for both males and females. But a lot of these pieces can only if you make an outfit specifically with the swimsuit pieces, because you can't like mix and match from outside things. It's just that set. That outfit can only be worn in this Ryza map. So again, like if you have this like an awesome looking swimsuit and some shades and some swimming trunks and some lays and things like that, you can have them all. You can be all decked out while you're relaxing in Ryza.
But you won't accidentally go into a battle with it on.
No, you can't. You just can't.
Good.
So it helps for keeping your immersion and not being silly as you're going and doing Star Trek stuff.
So we've got
Makes
one
sense.
game where you build a house and you furnish it. Another game where you go to the Pleasure Planet, you make sandcastles and wear your swimsuit. Where's the actual game in these games?
Hey, there's actual game.
Oh, there's quite a bit of game, but however, season 9.5 has recently gone live, and there hasn't been, as far as I've been able to dig up, there has not been actually any additional quest content, unlike season 8.5. But there has been some massive overhaul stuff that happened in this one. Primarily, the crafting system got changed, because before there was a crafting system, but it was laughable at best. It was completely ignored. A lot of the stuff was outscaled really quickly. It was just kind of okay, it's there. Some of the items in that were used for fleet asset projects, but that's about it. So they did a massive overhaul to it, and one of the best ways to describe it is it's a lot like the Neverwinter Online crafting system, where you have different schools of crafting, and then within them it's like, how's your progress? Once you're progressed far enough, it unlocks the ability to make certain things. But for example, you'll have your beams, which is like almost all your beam arrays, and your dual beam banks for like your science vessels that are more offensively inclined. You've got your cannons, which is pretty much your escorts, the more tactical inclined ships that can turn closer to on a dime. You've got engineering, which does both engineering consoles plus impulse engines, the engine cores, and things like that. Ground weapons, your guns of all different shapes and sizes. Projectiles, which is all your torpedo launchers and mine launchers. Science, which is your deflector shields, the shields on your ship, and then science consoles. And then, like, personal shields. Oh, sorry. Shields on the ship are in the shield section as well, but like your personal shields for like when you're on ground combat missions, and then the shields on your ship itself. So those are the different schools. When you max them out, you can make better quality versions of different items. Like technically at 0 skill level, you can try to make a quality level 12 item. It's just that your chance of success is incredibly low.
That's
But the higher your Yep, but the higher your skill level is, and depending on which duty officers you have working on it, the more likely you are to actually succeed and make the better gear.
I like that. That's
awesome.
Yeah, but actually, this leads into another thing. Was because of that revamp, they also revamped the duty officer system, which for some people have drawn a lot of. Now, I have not personally tried this, but I've heard a lot of people describe that the garrison system in World of Warcraft is pretty much a simplified version of the Star Trek Online duty officer system, where you have these people who will go do tasks for you, and when they're done, they come, they report back, and you get various rewards. So, for example, the UI, if you're watching on the video, this is how the UI looks now. I can't show you how it looks before. You might be able to catch it in a previous Star Trek Online episode that I was on. You might have seen me bring it up. But pretty much it's you get your various rewards. You can collect whatever you've got. So like for here, after aligning the Heisenberg compensator, which does not mean I was making meth. It
That's
means
awesome.
I was actually aligning a Heisenberg compensator.
That's so cool.
Critical success, I got a multiplier for the standard rewards. So a lot of dilithium, a whole bunch of the task XP, XP for the character, skill points for using skills, and then because I crit on this one, I get a ship buff for the next 30 minutes, I believe. But there's a whole bunch of rewards for doing all the different duty officer stuff. So you get personal buffs, you get items, you get dilithium, which is the time currency that I've mentioned in previous podcasts. You can also monitor, how's the progress, how much longer is it going to take before your upcoming assignments are going to finish. So, I've got one that'll finish in about 2 minutes. The one after that will be 16 minutes. Let's say, okay, I need, probably right here is not a good example of it, but say, okay, I've got a whole bunch of assignment slots that are available, which on the lower left-hand corner it says I've got 9. So I bring up my personal roster of assignments. I can go, hey, I think there is contraband, smuggled amongst my crew. So I go to planet. Automatically, the game populates 2 duty officers that you have under in your roster to maximize the effectiveness of your the success in there. And you can check the how likely is it going to crit, how likely is it going to succeed, fail, or have a disaster happen. And different traits affect this.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to tweak or change, it's like, ooh, I want to save that person for a different mission. You can swap them out for someone else, or just say, yeah, they're good. Plus, they give you little red and green indicators of, is this a good trait or a bad trait for the particular project. If you're good with it and you know how much time it's going to take, you just say begin the assignment, and it gets added to the other roster.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if memory serves, Star Wars: The Old Republic, or Star Wars, Star Wars: The Old Republic has basically the same concept, doesn't it?
It, from what I recall, and I don't know if that's also had a change, but it has a very, very similar process. But like your companions, where this companion has a bonus if you send them on these kinds of projects, those kind of crafting things. So something similar, but I think the duty officer system here is a little more complicated. I assume the World of Warcraft one's going to be as complicated, maybe better, simpler. It's going to have its Blizzard spin, so that's what they do.
So what do you guys think about this concept in general of having these kind of games that play themselves without your direct input?
Well, For this, it is a alternate progression method. Like I know for Neverwinter and any alts I have here in Star Trek Online, it is a passive method to both advance alts without actively having to just play, invest additional time to play them, because a lot of the duty officer system, which is unlocked at about a level 11, I believe. I can double check that real fast. Oop, if I can grab the scroll bar. Yep, duty officer system's at level 11, but pretty much you play your alt up to level 11, it unlocks the duty officer system, and you can get pretty much passive XP gain. My Klingon alt, it was leveled up entirely with the duty officer system, so it takes a long time, but they're gaining stuff. It's a handy method. It's a handy system. Like a Facebook game, you can get faster, better rewards by doing the quick, very short duration missions. Whereas when it's time for it to go, like you're logging off for the day, you can go send your duty officers on the longer missions that to get those rewards. But it's handy, it's neat, and it's it's an additional method to get certain things. But in certain cases, it's like this is the method for getting these particular progressions. But they're not all the progressions, at least with the duty officer system. None of them are mandatory to do like end game progress. It is like this is a supplement to what you're doing.
I have to admit, I kind of like these in games. I'm excited to see World of Warcraft do it. It makes it feel more like you're more involved in playing the game, knowing I'm at work, but hey, my duty officers are off, taking care of this mission for me.
Yep. If they make it interesting and exciting and enjoyable, it should be a welcome addition. So
Right.
that's what I'm expecting out of there.
Oh,
And
that's so
certainly-
exciting.
And certainly there's been enough games now that do have a really great template for this idea that they can just build on that, which is kind of unusual for WoW, especially because usually they're kind of the trendsetter, but this is like, okay, these games are doing this, let's make our own version.
Well, they've done similar things with the modding community, where it's like this mod is so ubiquitous and it's so amazing and popular, they actually integrate it into the system. So it's
Right.
they do set certain trends, but they also go, hey, that's a good idea, we should do it too, but our way. So it's what they do. So let me get back to my notes here. Additional things that are going on. So the crafting system. In addition, the battle zones, so like New Romulus or the the Dyson Sphere, they have like all these quests and things that you can do in them. Well, they've now added so that when you do objectives and missions in those areas, they now give you dilithium as a reward. So now, primarily the reason they've said was that there is tons of group content that gives people dilithium, which people can use either to buy certain gear, do certain projects, work on certain reputation progressions, or work on your fleet asset progress. Well, the thing is there's not a lot of solo exclusive content that really gives a decent amount of dilithium, so they've decided, well, why not add them to the battle, the battleground maps? So pretty much while you're off doing those, the activities in those areas, you're also gaining dilithium for your effort, in addition to gaining the stuff to progress the reputation levels in those particular areas. In addition, because of some of the changes and streamlinings on here, there used to be some nebula zones all around the space map, with the galaxy map. They are now no longer there. They pretty much said these areas were a little bit silly and we want to do a more effective use of them. For example, right next to the Sirius sector block, there used to be a Delta Volanus cluster that you could actually zone into. In fact, if you zoom in real close, you can still kind of see the slight arrow outline that actually was here's where you go and zone over to another area. Well, they've changed it now, so there's now a planet marker there where the old zoning section was. So instead of actually having to zone out there to go do the special duty officer tasks for like colonization and exploration, now you just go to the cluster itself as a map node, and they can just interact with them directly there without having to invoke two load maps, one to get in there, get all the stuff, and then one to get right back out. So it helps cut down on load times. It just helps streamline some things there.
Nice.
Plus, there wasn't exactly anything flashy going on there. I mean, there was the standard issue, here's space, but there wasn't anything like, oh, here's a planet, because it's kind of unexplored, anything's out there. So it's like, let's just simplify it and keep it closer to what's more exciting and interesting.
Well, yeah, that's what you want out of gameplay, right?
Yep.
Definitely.
Unless it's Eve.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Eve's got
Yeah.
some glory. The final thing that got added on here, and I will see if I can get to a better lit section to try and show this off, but the Odyssey uniform set has been added to all of Starfleet across the board. Like, all the NPCs who are officially Starfleet affiliated now have these updated uniforms and like the proper markings for what your rank and position. Like, if you are a if you're a captain, someone in command, if it's the dress uniform, if it's the tactical uniform, if you are I'm trying to remember the term for what O'Brien was, because he wasn't a rank officer, he was a commissioned commissioned personnel. So there's different things, so you can tell, oh, that's what this person is. So our fleet base, our star base, all the NPCs have been updated and changed. Admiral Quinn has been updated and changed so that everyone is wearing the Odyssey style uniform. I think this might be lit decently enough, and I can show you an example of the dress uniform that my character has. Right there. So as you can see, at least for the top part, this is what this is a variation of the command version of the. I think it's the dress version of the Odyssey uniform. So it's kind of got the.
Where does the Odyssey uniform fit in the timeline of Star Trek?
This is the year I think it's the 25th century. There is a thing to look up for. But chronologically, as far as the shows and movies go, this is after Voyager. Not immediately after, but like Voyager was the last chronological thing that's happened before this stuff. Technically kind of the first J.J. Abrams movie, but only so far as the event of Romulus exploding and thus making the one guy swear vengeance and time travel, thus making the alternate timeline. But that's the only other furthest event closest to what's going on in Star Trek Online.
Gotcha.
Man,
So Star Trek Online.
I expected to hear 6 more thuses. I mean, come on, thus!
So Star Trek Online is really the next generation of Star Trek.
It is official. Like it is like Cryptic
It is
has
canon?
for anything that it is canon.
Oh, good.
But it's as canon as, like, for example, the novels. So it's like similar canon to like the extended universe in Star Wars, where it's like, okay, the movies are like, this is the hard major canon, and everything else outside of a certain subset is like the B canon or extended universe. So Star Trek Online, correct. So Star Trek Online is as canon as any of the novels are, which, as far as I follow, and there might be someone who's probably a much better be able to answer this better. I'd probably defer to Daryl, the Trek nerd, on this one. But like the novels are still considered canon, but they're also they're like a B canon, where like if a TV show contradicts anything in the novel, the TV show wins. So that's where Star Trek Online sits, because anything that Cryptic wants to add to this, they have to get approval by CBS. So there's actually been like communication where they've said, where players have said, we want this added into the game. They said, well, we have presented this to CBS, and they have said at this time, no. But there have been changes that have gone in where it's like, okay, we can convince that this is fine. Everything will be cared for and given the respect that it should have for involving like adding this ship or including this species. In fact, soon, I think towards the end of this year, there's supposed to be a second expansion for Star Trek Online. They have not revealed any details on it, but the popular rumor right now is, like the previous expansion was the inclusion of the Romulan Republic, this next expansion is going to be another popular requested race, and it might be the Cardassians.
Oh, as long as
Kim
it's not the
Kardashian?
Kardashians. No. Please, God, no.
No, not them. Though they are aliens.
Something.
But the Odyssey uniform, which is pretty much in line with the Odyssey class starships, which is the current type of ship that the Enterprise, the flagship of the Federation, is. And the current captain for the Enterprise is a Andorian instead of a human. So within Star Trek Online, the first Enterprise captain who is not human has happened with I think it's the Enterprise H, I believe, or it might be G. I'm not 100% sure, but it's one of those two letters, and I apologize for not knowing that answer. But on the actual day of First Contact Day, they do hold an in-game event where you get to meet the crew of the current Enterprise and get to learn the backstory and what's the deal with the NPCs who man that crew.
Very cool.
Plus, in a lot of the current storylines, like the three factions, the Romulans, the Klingons, and the Federation, they each have a flagship captain. And in fact, in the main load screen, it says, you're logging into Star Trek Online, and there's all the new things going on with Season 9. It shows the three flagship captains standing side by side. It's like, here's Season 9, a new Accord, and there's Admiral Tuvok there in the background.
Wow.
So you get to see here's the three biggest captains in the Alpha Quadrant.
That's so cool.
Oh, that's great.
Though I would argue that probably Sybil is just as big of a captain.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Sybil, there she is.
Probably.
Okay, but so the Odyssey uniforms, they are available for everyone. At least the normal versions of them. The dress and tactical versions of them are unlocked through your fleet for fleet marks. If you have already purchased previous Odyssey uniforms, because there was an older version before all this happened, you have access to the new uniforms, the new uniform editions, the tactical and dress uniform, for free. At least that's what happened to me, because I had bought that, and it's in the patch notes saying that. So
once
if
you buy them,
want,
upgrades are free. All right.
Yep. But it unlocks it for the character. The next thing that came out is they do have lock boxes in this. I'm just going to make this real short and brief on this, because love them or hate them, this is a thing that does give a lot of cash to Cryptic so they can keep developing and making this game. Whether you agree with the practice or not, that's your thing, but my reporting is the current lockbox is the Xindi lockbox, the Xindi races, because there was 5 of them from Enterprise. That's pretty much themed stuff from them, so you can get all the perks and fun stuff from there. And I believe, do I have a Xindi box on me? I do not believe so. So I would have told you what's possibly in there, but all the lockboxes do have an exclusive ship in there, so that's how you get that one. But that ship is not if you want to win the game, you need it, because it's pretty much hey, I want a handy, cool, neat ship.
So buying a mount or a pet in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, just like that.
Oh.
So it's it's handy, and they have some good performance, but you do not need them to do any of the end game content. You are perfectly
It's not going to change that.
Yep. You are not handicapped at all. In fact, we have access to some really good ships because of how our fleet is progressed with our fleet assets.
Speaking of the fleet, how is AIE doing in the game?
Our fleet is actually doing rather good. We recently, I'd have to double check with an officer who has the ability for this, but we recently just finished the latest upgrade for the dilithium mine, which is still the current thing we are trying to finish, because it gives discounts on the materials required to complete other projects with other assets. But for anyone on the video, you can see that we are very close to completing the dilithium mine. We are about 1/3 of the way into Tier 3, which is the final tier for the dilithium mine's overall progress. We are maxed out with the trade, the second tier of the trade progression in the mine, and we are about halfway through the 3rd tier of the development section. So we are progressing quite a bit. If you go into the mine, we've got a whole bunch of cosmetic appearance things that we've unlocked. We've got a lot of services. There are duty officers you can get. There is a daily mission to get more dilithium. Also, we have unlocked a thing to process more dilithium than your normal daily allotment. Normally, you can process 8,000. I think we can. It's a 500 additional dilithium daily quest you can do. That's like, okay, process 500 more, you're done. So it's it's a nice perk for being in the group. Otherwise, for the star base, which is like the crown jewel of where everything is, one perk we have gotten with the mine is we can now do site-to-site teleporting between the dilithium mine, which is
You're
near.
magus? That's cheating.
No, we're better than Maguses. We're science.
Ooh.
But, again, for the people on video, we are starting into the 4th tier of the science projects. I think we've also just barely started into the engineering on its 4th tier, and we're a little further in the 4th tier progress of the military section. But we are about 2/3 of the way into the 4th tier of the overall Starbase progress. But we've got like the Tailor, we've got daily duty officer missions and tasks you can get inside there, weapons, ships, shields, consoles, a whole bunch of stuff. So that there's a lot of perks for joining in, and if you help contribute, even more things unlock. So far, we're waiting for at least the dilithium mine before we start working on the Spire. A lot of the perks with the Spire, because it exists out in the Dyson sphere, it helps your progression with doing stuff in that battle zone, as well as unlock some other side perks and handy things there. The embassy has been put on pause, but that one we have unlocked a couple perks with that, like additional duty officer task slots, which normally you have 20 people in our fleet who buy the additional slots. We can have up to 22, so even more stuff getting progressed and hauled in.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's where we are with that. So if you're interested in helping out, just log into the game. You bring up any of the active projects. Once we get those back in there, Hunter, I know he's currently visiting family, so he doesn't have access to decent internet right now. Some other officers should have access, but I'm not sure how busy they are. But all you do is you bring up your fleet menu on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Just go into the holdings, select whichever asset it is that you want to contribute to, click on whichever project is active, and it will give a list of hey, this is what this project needs in order to complete. Once all the things are there, similar to the duty officer system, then it starts on its processing time. When it's done, it unlocks whatever it does or adds progression XP to that particular project.
Nice.
However, the one big thing that's going on right this second, it started today, the dilithium bonus event is live. What this means is everything you do, anything that gives you dilithium, in fact, all those duty officer missions I was collecting in, I was actually getting a bonus of dilithium with each of those cash-ins, because normally it'd be a slight bit less. But pretty much what it is from now until the 28th, anything that gives you unrefined dilithium, you're going to get 50% more raw dilithium from whatever that is. So this includes the daily dilithium mining quest that you can do, both at our dilithium mine and then the public dilithium mine. Any duty officer missions, any of the, as you recall, the battle zones just got dilithium added to those. Those are giving even more, so there's tons of dilithium to pick up. Now dilithium, to stress on how it's used in this game, this gives both reputation progress for getting the end game gear that you want to get for doing the different reputation line progressions. It also is used for unlocking and progressing our fleet asset progressions. So if we want to have any of the cosmetic things that they get added on there, those cost lots and lots of dilithium. Also, dilithium is used for the Zen exchange. This is where you exchange so much of your processed and refined dilithium for Zen, which is the name of the money currency, the premium currency, to get ships, character slots, race unlocks, other fun things. So it's pretty much you trade in your time for money. So as goblins say, time is money. It's quite a literal thing in here. So, this is an event where it's like, even if you're doing it passively, you should totally participate in this event and rake up as much dilithium as possible, because it's like you're doing the same effort, but you're getting much more reward.
Great.
All right,
That's so cool.
before we close the show out, for people who may not play Star Trek Online or may play it but be interested in joining AIE, can you tell people where we are in the game?
There's only one server for the live server. There's a test server, but you don't need to worry about that. We don't do anything over there because it's test and it comes up and comes down. But you can either go to Steam and download the game there, or there is ARC, which is like Steam, but it's the Perfect World Entertainment platform for all their different games. So you could also see like Neverwinter and Perfect World Global, or I can't remember what it's called, but you can see all the different Perfect World Entertainment games there. But either way, you can download the game and play it. There are some perks if you're playing the game through ARC. Pretty much they say, hey, thank you for downloading ARC and using it. Here's some unlocks. So, for example, in Star Trek Online, you can get the Khan from The Wrath of Khan, the second Star Trek movie. You can have his full outfit and his haircut. So if you want to have a I Look Like Khan outfit, you download ARC, log on to Star Trek Online through that, and it unlocks it for your whole account. But again, not mandatory. If you want to keep things minimalistic and simple, go through Steam. Works just as effective.
Great.
All right, but what server are we on?
It's just the server. I think it's called Holodeck, but there's only the one server. The tech that you use in this game is like if there's too many people in one location, they just make another shard right then and there, and it's like, all right, people just go into that overflow.
Oh,
so
great.
you don't have to go. Are we on Earthen Ring? Are we on here? It's like, no, you just go onto Star Trek, and there you go.
Very nice. So how do people find you and join? How do people find you and join the guild?
The unique thing with Star Trek Online, and it's also a bit of a thing that exists with Final Fantasy 14, is that, of course, you can submit your application through Umami, and the nice thing with that one is if we approve your application on there, subject to all rules and policies of AIE, which, it's be a decent person and all that fun stuff. But as soon as it's approved, what we can do is, if when we're logged in, we can immediately send in the invite for your character. So when you're approved, the next time you log that character in, this window pops up, says you've been invited to Alea Iacta S. Do you want to accept this invite? You go yes, and you're in the guild.
Oh, great!
Very nice.
So much easier.
Love that.
It's pretty nice there. If there's an issue, we usually get back with you saying, hey, the name you gave, because there's a name for your character, and then what I call the @ name, because it's separated with a @ and then it's pretty much a login handle. Don't use your login name as that handle, but pretty much your @ name is your handle. So, for example, for me, it's Deed Fulland is my character here, my science officer, but my @ name is Arani Kitty. So, like any character I'm on, it's character's name @ Arani Kitty, so you always know that's me.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I like that.
Which
all right. So
also, go ahead.
no, anything else before we close the show?
It was just a weird anecdote about some of the weird abuses people can do with the names. But again, the @ name pretty much makes it very clear. Oh, it's this person and not that jerk pretending. So, like, for example, you could have 10 different people be GURP, saying I'm Scott Johnson, but all the @ names would be different. Or another person could make Deed Fulland, but their @ name would be different, so you'd know, okay, that Deed Fulland's not Rado Zato from AIE, that's someone else, as an example.
Gotcha. I like that. That's
That's
cool.
great, though, that they make sure that you can abuse someone's good name.
Well, yeah, you can also, instead of like these name campers, they're squatting on this name. It's like, no, I'm just going to be the name exactly that I want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to call that our show for tonight. Rado, thank you so much for joining us. Before we close out the show, it's time to ask the chat room to come up with this week's show title. Rado, it'll be your job to choose a show title. Are you in the chat room? I know you had your game full screen. So.
I am, but there's a weird graphical thing, at least with this, that if I tab out while I'm talking, you guys are going to see a black screen. So anyone who's been in the chat room trying to get my attention, I'm sorry. I know you're trying to talk to me, but as soon as this is over, I'll look at it. But yeah, I'll pick a show title shortly after this is all resolved.
Well, this won't be resolved until you pick a show title.
Dun,
So
dun,
it's okay if you tab out because we're going to be talking. No one will be looking at your screen anyway, so we're totally cool. All right. So, Radozetta, where can people find you on the web?
Primarily, you can find the articles that I write that review board games over at acrosstheboardgames.net. Also, in the show notes that I entered earlier is, an example of a recent article. Stay tuned for an article about the Naxxramas expansion in Hearthstone. But if you want to see some of my more shorter musings, you can follow me on Twitter at Radozatto.
All right. Next week, we'll be talking about AIE Summer of Love and Remembrance Day in detail. We're going to have some special guests on who are leading up those events and can tell us all about them.
But stay tuned for now, as we've got a full ride of great AIE member segments coming right up, including Ask Miss Mulgrup, Buxley's Journal, Much Lesser Known Shaws, and Epic Diapers.
But first, if you need to reach us, we can be found at email podcast@aie-guild.org. The podcast Twitter handle is AIE Podcast. Zod is at Accuzod. Eludra is at Eludra_AIE. And I'm at Cyberwave. We record live every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play along with us, or watch one of our past shows on our website at theaiepodcast.com. Our theme was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul or visit his website at keyswithsoul.com.
So until next time, AIE, this is Accuzod.
This is Eludra.
This is Makala.
And this has been the AIE Podcast. Okay. Okay, chat room.
Is a band with no talent can easily amuse idiots with a stupid puppet show.
There we go.
All right, chat room, we need a show title from you, and there are already some going in there. Rado, you see any winners?
I do see a couple. I might do a modification of one being suggested by Lotwook. Let's see. I'm thinking Macallan, like that. So like I'll type it in chat. So for those who are in chat, spelling it like that, but credit to Lotwook for trying to merge the two.
Alrighty. So Lotwook, you'll get the credit for that, even though Rado came in with the assist there. Chat room, thank you guys so much for hanging in there with us. Apologize for all the technical fits at the beginning of the show. We will have most of the bugs, but not all of them, worked out by next week, I'm certain. So with that, I'm taking us off the air. Bye, guys. We love you.
Bye.